Hey everyone, this is Janet and Ryan coming to you from BoldFit. And it's been a little bit of time since we posted anything on social media, but right now is the time that we felt it was important to speak up and speak loudly. Not only are we in the middle of a continued global pandemic, but we are also facing a huge transition in our society in this country, and that issue is around racism. And racism is a public health issue and a real public health threat. Racism is a driving force of the social determinants of health that can equate to anything with housing, with employment, with education, with resources. And as public servants of health, we feel it is our responsibility and obligation to ensure that our community stays healthy and well, regardless of their background, race, color, ethnicity, etc.
And it's very easy, I think, to watch the news, and assuming you don't live in one of the cities that is having large protests, you may seem as though it's a distant issue. But what really drives it home for us is we live in Ypsilanti, and the Ypsilanti board basically issued this, how would you describe it? Proclamation?
Yeah, on June 2nd of 2020, the City Council of Ypsilanti prepared a declaration against racism.
So it reads as such: racism unfairly disadvantages specific individuals and communities, while unfairly giving advantages to other individuals and communities, and saps the strength of the whole society through the waste of human resources. And the city of Ypsilanti is collective. Prosperity depends on the equitable access to opportunity for every resident, regardless of the color of their skin. This is here. This is not just in the many towns, which now, honestly, even my small town of Adrian have had protests, which I'm very proud of. But it is escalating to the recognition of it being also a public health emergency.
This is a huge issue that spans across the country, spans across socioeconomic status. And again, we want to point out with facts here that racism significantly influences people of color regarding health because they do have lower quality of healthcare access, because they don't have enough resources to education or to employment opportunities, and also in employment opportunities to experience prejudice like others may not. And what we are seeing, even in this global pandemic with COVID, that Black Americans on average are 2 times as likely to die of COVID than the general population. In fact, according to the American Public Health Association, disproportionately, Black counties account for up to 60% of COVID deaths in America. 60%. Just think about that number.
I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it makes sense too that we're experiencing this transition under sort of the pale umbrella of COVID, because
right.
Now we are really coming to grapple with the number of public health emergencies that basically we've set the scene for vis-a-vis the systems and structures in our society.
And I will say that we, as part of BoldFit, are just one part of a community that's really looking to have community-based solutions to address these issues. And the American Public Health Association includes recommendations that call for increased investment in promoting racial and economic equity in our communities, as well as implementing community-based alternatives to addressing harms and preventing trauma, specifically leading from violence and situations that can sometimes turn for the worst. We, as part of BoldFit, are very, very lucky that we are part of a fitness co-op at the Fitness House in Ann Arbor, which is owned by Brian Young, who himself has his own training business, Be Young, Be Fit, and he is a Black-owned community business. And we have always felt that when we joined the Fitness House, that we were part of something that was very special. We shared similar values, similar missions, similar approaches to how we want to help people improve their daily lives. And so we want to make sure that we emphasize that with Brian's leadership, we are all looking at opportunities now of how we can help in the community. So fitness isn't just about getting a good workout in. It affects your mind, it affects your health, your physical health, all of those things. And there's a lot of energy right now out there, raw energy, emotion, feelings, and sometimes those can be channeled in ways that may not be productive. But we want to look at ways that we can channel that energy into something positive to help people to cope with what they're feeling. Let people feel their grievances, their grief, their sorrow, but also look to help those who need to find ways to stay uplifted and continue on to go with this fight against racism and ending it as much as possible once and for all.
And even as COVID begins to wane in some areas, particularly actually the state of Michigan being one of 2 states that seems to have amongst the most successful pushback of it, the world will probably never be the same. And maybe that's a great thing. We have now had a real chance to understand how we would do, not just in a pandemic, but how we would do if we were isolated, and understand our own self-care, and maybe even have more time just to be introspective, which honestly is part of the experience, certainly part of the fitness experience, but I think the overall health experience. In the meantime, as COVID starts to fade away, and as the protests hopefully continue, please continue to fight the good fight. Keep pushing. Change is never easy. It's often painful, so we can suffer a little bit for it now.
And BoldFit will continue to be in that spot in the community to help promote racial justice and equality. And we look forward to hopefully seeing more people come in and talk to us about our approach and supporting a Black-owned business at the Fitness House and with Brian's business, Be Young, Be Fit. And we really hope you are all healthy, safe, and well out there. And know that you're not alone. Thanks, friends. We'll talk to you soon.